Well, every day you need to help your own. Well, my friend, one day it's gonna be all alone. Well, it's real down to earth, and I know just how it hurts to be in a bind, just trying to stay alive. Well, I can drink and I can cuss, and I can be pretty doggone tough. I like to stay up all night just to see that big sun rise and light up my life.
How's it doing, ladies and gentlemen? Michael at Oregon Sweet Leaf Revival, and of course, always our lovely, lovely ganja goddess.
Hi there.
So, how is everybody doing tonight? Everything's going pretty good over here on this side of things. We're doing pretty good in the garden. We've got a lot of things happening. Tonight, we're just going to sit back and have a much shorter show than what we had last night. This is the 4th episode. Of course, that doesn't mean we're slowing down one bit.
No, we just need to spend a little time with our kid.
Yeah, we needed to get some time with the kid.
Watch a movie.
So, anyways, so many things are happening. This is the 1st of July. We've got wonderful weather ahead of us for the 4th, and I hope everybody's going to play it safe, have a good time, be responsible, and remember, don't ever drink and drive. That is the most stupidest thing you can do. Guys out there, gals out there, you people, please be responsible. If you do consume alcohol or any kind of beverage that could fuck you up, don't get behind the wheel, okay? For your sake, for your family's sake, and for the people out there in the world that aren't suspecting a bumper in the back of their grill anytime soon from an irresponsible driver. So don't be one of those people. This is something I want to bring up here on this show, and I think we want to talk about it, is that, holidays, of course, are going to kind of change when it comes to law enforcement out there. The piggies, the fucking bacon out there, they're gonna be looking for any and every little excuse they can to say, see, irresponsible behavior under the influence of cannabis in those recreational states. And so you kids, ladies and gentlemen out there in those recreational states of Washington and Colorado, just remember, man, you've already been picked out as a petri dish. So they said you guys are a social experiment. Don't ask me, just go ask the Department of Justice that question. But, if you're using cannabis, just think, I know that a lot of weird shit can happen when alcohol is involved. And I know that folks that are just using cannabis are going to be safe because cannabis users are responsible. But the thing is, though, are those cannabis users in the recreational states that are using alcohol at the same time. And so alcohol, we all know, is going to take over when it comes to crime and all the other bullshit that comes with after the show is over effect with alcohol. So please fucking just be responsible, you know what I'm saying? And you cannabis users that are going to use alcohol, get designated drivers, be responsible while you're using alcohol and cannabis at the same time. Nobody here is telling you not to. I'm just saying be responsible, man, because if something fucking goes fucky and you're at the hands of it and happen to be a cannabis user, this is going to give this big huge media company, media corporation who thinks you're a petri dish anyways, an opportunity to say, see, I told you, we let it go. Now look at how crazy it is. And they're gonna pick those incidents right out, and it's gonna go right to the media. So you guys out there and you gals out there need to be responsible.
Yes.
because they will snatch you right up right now, and that's just how it goes. I mean, it's unfortunate, but this is what they said.
You know, sometimes alcohol can make you feel like you're invincible. Think about what would happen to them if something happened to you. All you young kids out there thinking that you're invincible and that alcohol is not a big deal. You can get drunk and drive. It don't matter. It'll never happen to you.
So just be responsible and do the right thing, and you're going to be able to go a long ways. Don't be the idiot that they fucking get a pick on and say, oh, see, look, you know, this person was using cannabis and alcohol, but cannabis, see, I told you, you know, and it's going to give the media a wonderful opportunity to fucking put some sandbag down to bend somebody over, okay? So don't do that. Be responsible when you're consuming alcohol, folks, okay? It's really easy to forget when you're getting all sauced up.
I don't understand why anybody even wants to drink.
Well, I believe it's a personal choice. And I believe that every person has a right to make the personal choice. But most importantly, they need to be responsible, just like when we're with our cannabis.
Alcohol destroys families.
Absolutely, it does, and it can be pretty dangerous. I don't encourage any heavy consumption of any kind of alcohol form. Anyways, I do encourage responsibility. Okay, if you're gonna do it, be responsible. But other than that, have a blast on the 4th, man. I know that there's a lot of weather that's going to be good for the western part of the United States. And I hope all my friends and family in Canada have a good time. I hope all my friends in Chile and Europe and, you know, all of the people that watch our show and subscribe to our stuff. We appreciate your subscriptions. And you know what, man? I can't wait to meet the people that do watch my show, because if you're out there and you come around me, man, I can't wait to give you a big old bear hug, man. We can sit down and blaze one out and talk good times, because I appreciate your support. Every little bit of viewership helps. And so 7/10's coming up, you know, now here we are in July, you know, this is going to be a time for those extraction artists and whatnot to come out of the woodwork. Yep. And it might be a magical time. We're going to be videotaping it throughout the session. We'll try to get as much of that uploaded as possible. I'm going to take out a video camera with a bigger SD card, and it's just going to take some time to figure out how to get it done. I'm going to get a better camera for the computer for the show. Maybe one that's more transportable, so that when we go to different gardens or different places, we can take you with us. I would love to take all my friends that are in Europe and different parts of other countries other than my own. I'd love to be able to take them to the places that I get to go, the places that I'm blessed to go. So I'm definitely going to make that effort, because I think that the more we are able to share this out, the more you know, information we can get available to those people that are just learning or emerging in the cannabis field, cannabis breeding, and cannabis industry. So as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
So what I want to say more than anything, though, just have a really good time. Don't you think?
I want everybody to have a blast.
Have a blast, man.
But always consider your family while you're doing it.
4th of July, folks.
No mother wants to lose their child.
What a big time of the year, man. For me, when I was a kid in 1976, 4th of July was Evel Knievel trying to jump across across Hell's Canyon and just having a blast. So, not too much in the cannabis world right now today in regards to what's happening, other than the High Times Cup is going on down there in Cali. And, you know, congratulations to all the winners down there in Cali, man. You guys down there and you gals down there that are involved in these collectives and co-ops, you guys are producing some phenomenal stuff. I'm glad to see some new stuff coming out that's completely different, you know. For the last few years, it's been the same thing, and so I'm really glad to see some of these newer strains. I'm looking forward to networking with all of my Cali brothers and sisters down there. You know, maybe I can get up with some of you breeders down there with some of them fine nuggets you got, and we can do some exchanging, some genetic exchanging, because with my genetics, what I breed, I'm sure you guys will want to get a little hand on that, because I breed those oily strains anyways. And I know you guys will like those oily strains. Petrichor is one of those that's going to be heavily duly oily. The reason I know it's going to be oily was within about 4 weeks of it popping from a seed, it produced a wonderful smell. Ask her, about 4 weeks, and it was just oily smell, ready to go, you know. And you can tell pre when it's going into the growth and you're going to the green phase, man, it gets stinkier and stinkier and stinkier. And it didn't. This was before I started seeing any hair, so, you know, any pistil or sign of sex. And I popped this from seed, and so, you know, these females that I've got right now, I know are phenomenal. And so far, that's all I got out of a package of 10 of my seeds, is all females, and all healthy. All of them are producing and doing well. And I think you guys down there are going to want to trade up some of those genetics, man. You guys got some nice genetics down there. I got honey bear in my garden, so, you know, I know honey bear comes from California, and honey bears, you know, of course, crossed into my mothership strain, you know, honey bear and master kush.
Yep.
So
it's going to be very tasty.
Mothership is phenomenal. For you guys that don't know my strain, Mothership is a strain that I have been able to successfully make happen with a collaboration with my master gardener, who works in my gardens. And one of the things, besides myself, I have other people that help, you know, because it is a collective, to make these gardens happen so that we can get free medicine out to people that need it. You know, there's a lot of family and loved ones out there, patients that are just starting, that don't have anywhere to go, and we like to make sure we have a little extra medicine to set aside for them that are out there that are just starting and have no idea what to do. So that's what Oregon Sweet Leaf Revival is about. You know, free the plant. Comes with one free plant, free growing experience, free growers classes, you know, free collective experience. Okay, and that's the thing, you know. You do the math from 1976 to where we're at today. That's how much experience we got working right here at Oregon Sweet Leaf Revival, since 1976 at our seed house. So, third generation gardener in our gardens. We got a fourth generation gardener in our garden already. He's up and coming and emerging. He's a master at everything he does. And so, new things and exciting things happening in Oregon Sweet Leaf Revival's gardens. With our strains, though, we do have that honey bear and that master kush cross. Fucking phenomenal plant. That's all I can say. Big, fat, heavy leaves. I think that I'm considering maybe using that strain, that honey bear and master kush strain, for my Canagar. So look for that at a dispensary near you. My Canagars are going to come in a fine handmade case, and you're going to be able to get those in packs of 5. You can get them in individuals, but individual ones are going to be very limited and very exclusive, and I'm probably only going to be carrying those at exclusive places, just because of the fact that all the time and effort that it's going to take to put into a fine triple class A Canagar, that's just going to blow your mind. Okay, you're going to want to sit down and you're going to want to light that up with your friends. And I'm also doing the chair root. Now the chair root, I think what we're going to do with the chair root is we're going to expand that line as it grows, but we're going to start out with the basic Spanish style cheroot, and that cheroot line is going to be basically not your trim leaf or any of that, but it's going to be top shelf, unkeefed, unhindered flower that's been aged and cured very fine in a cherry aromatic. And then what we're going to do with that is we're going to basically lace that chair root with maybe some water-soluble fine-grade hash, and each one of those chair roots will come with just an extra special kiss from Ganjagadas. So look for those to come. They're going to be happening here probably around this fall, and I'm really excited to see the emergence of them. I think that the production of them are going to go in a relatively smooth line because it's just going to follow every harvest that we pull in our gardens. So it's going to be a very, very nice product. It's a product that everybody's going to love. They're going to know has had some time spent with it. And then on top of that, we're also going to do the sun-grown Canagar. And that sun-grown Canagar is going to have just a plethora of wonderful good medicine in it that you're going to love. And it's going to be cured and aged at a fine perfection. And it's all going to be rolled in 100% pure canna leaf. And the canna leaf method that we're going to be using is going to be used with the sweet and trichomes. And we're just going to press that into a hatchy patty. And we have a method that we're practicing right now and experimenting with some presses that seems to work with a good pliable material, 100% bud. So you're talking a bud wrapping with bud inside of it. So you can't beat that, with a hammer, as Hank would say. So tonight, we're going to go ahead and fire one up. What do you say, man? That sounds like a good one, don't you think? Ganjagadas? Going to fire one up. Got some Purple Kush on the menu tonight. And, I like it. I've had Purple Kush in my garden before. I love the plant. It's a beautiful plant. It's Purple Kush straight up, you know what I'm saying? Granddaddy purples, all your Mendocino purple. But Mama and I both, we Ganjagadas and I both love the purple strains. We're looking forward to the purple strains we have in our garden because we have blackberry that's in our garden this year, and as we all know, that's a purple strain, and we've got some Shishkaberry, which is a purple strain. Petrichor, what a phenomenal, strange amount of different color we're getting out of it. Tomorrow we'll have Ganjagadas go out there and do some close-ups with their wonderful camera shots of maybe some of the different color spectrums that are coming from this plant. They're phenomenal. You're getting pinks. First off, that's the first. It's kind of a, what color would you say? It was like a pinkish,
Fuchsia.
like fuchsia, almost like a fuchsia pink in the center of Petrichor. All her new starts, everywhere where you get a new shoot going off, where it just goes off like so, right in that spot, right where it opens up for the second bud spot or the bud site, and you got that shoot off from there. It's all like a magenta color, and it's not very light either. It's kind of relatively dark. It almost looks tiger striped a little bit. And then you're getting like a blue hedge. Now the blue hedge we're getting that goes around each of the fan leaves, each of the water leaves on the bigger leaves. We're getting a blue, like a blue aura around each of the leaves. So the leaves are all with this beautiful blue aura. So I'm getting blues and magentas already, and the plant is just starting to, she's already shown me that she's a female. We're out there dancing around it with muddy toes in the mud. But yeah, Ganjagadas, what would you say in regards to Petrichor's colors?
Oh gosh, Petrichor is gorgeous. The beautiful shades of green, and it's just gorgeous all around. It has a little, like you said, the pink in the middle, and it just smells so delicious already. I have to smell her every day or I don't feel right.
Yeah, you have to, like she says. More than once. She's got to actually smell her every day or she just doesn't feel right. And I'll tell you the truth, Hey there, first viewer. We appreciate you viewing us. As you can tell, we're in black and white. We're in black and white because at this point we want to go in CCTV mode and have this bowl. So you came just in the right time because we're going to have this bowl right now. And so if you've got your bowl out, wherever you may be at this time, and I have the chat open, so if you want to throw out a hey, you can. We'd appreciate it. My name is Michael with Oregon Sweet Leaf Revival, and Ganja got us here.
Welcome.
And let's have this bowl. Let's have this bowl for all those that can't have one right now. And let's have this bowl for all of those individuals out there in the world who've been locked up, persecuted, abused, or otherwise used for the love of this plant. And let's smoke this for Mark Emery and for Eddie Lepp and Captain Jack and Jack Hare and Stormy Ray and all the folks who have gone before us pot activists across the country and have paved the way for us to continue this fight. And so let's do this tonight.
Let's do it.
Oh, and Mark Emery is sitting at approximately now
7 days.
7 days. He's got 7 days left, and then he gets to go home to Jody Emery. And so, Mark Emery, we love you, bro. We know you're pacing in that cage like an animal. So this one's for you too, bro. Purple Kush. I couldn't say any more about it, man. It's got a beautiful, beautifully flowery taste. It's got a definite grapey flavor, like a light, hazy grapey flavor. Like if maybe you might have just had a grape crush soda. With a hint of lilac.
I like lavender.
Or maybe even some lavender. Maybe a little bit of lavender, tasty a little bit. But really a very purple tasting strain. I recommend Purple Kush. Now Purple Kush is going to sit in the 19 to 18. This one here in specific is sitting at 24, ladies and gentlemen. So right here on the bottle, it's got the tested ratio.
24% THC.
24 THC, and you know, I'm pretty happy with it. What do you say?
I like it. One of my favorites. That's because I'm pretty partial to Mendocino. I can't find it anywhere.
Very nice. Very nice. Cheers. Very nice. Even now, at the second hit, even now, I'm not even getting that ashy flavor you normally would get in a bowl. I'm still getting that purple flavor. So, ladies and gentlemen, with this, for this strain, and Oregon Chronic Solutions is one that's putting it out. The really nice strain. I would recommend it, and I would recommend anybody and everybody in the state of Oregon, if they're down and around the Salem area, you can go ahead and meet up with Glenn, Miko, James, Sean, and Casey down there at Oregon Chronic Solutions.
12 to 8.
12 to 8.
Monday through Saturday. They're closed on Sundays.
Yes, they're closed on Sundays. But man, 12 to 8. You know, you late folks like us, man, that want to show up late.
On the corner of Madison and Fairgrounds Road, in that really cool old building.
Yeah.
It's got tile on the outside.
Yeah, very, very cool. It's kind of our home away from home
right
when we're in the middle of a harvest or whatever.
Right by the fire station, right close to that.
I do recommend, you know, anybody that comes through town to definitely hit them up. Very knowledgeable about what they're doing. They're patient-minded. They're patients themselves, and very caring people. Glenn and Miko, I've known them for many years. James as well, and Sean, and you know, they're just all a bunch of wonderful people.
James is very knowledgeable about his concentration.
Absolutely, man. You know,
win awards.
In fact, ladies and gentlemen, I'm looking forward to collaborating with James on some extracts this fall, and I'm hoping that we can, you know, maybe do some videos and show you some different ideas of extraction. We can talk about extraction at a different level. A lot of times people, when they do extraction, they say, you know, fucking blah, blah, blah. But, you know, science, it's a science. To do extractions, it's a science from the start. If you want to have a good, hardcore extraction that's going to be clean with very little particulates, you know, you really want to do your study. And not only do you want your study to be done right, but you want to do it with the most knowledgeable experience you possibly can, because you don't want to get stuck in a situation where you work all summer long and you pull down a harvest and you just end up screwing up your batch of hash, okay? So we're going to try to get out that information to you folks, free of knowledge, you know, that's what we're about, free this whole thing. We want you to have this, okay? Nobody should say, oh, you should regulate whatever, you know, you should have the right to have that choice. And so that's what we're about.
You guys should contact us if you have any questions about how to grow.
Yeah, especially, you know, like I said, here at Oregon Sweet Leaf Revival, we've got growers that have been growing since 1976, been involved 3 generations of growers, working on a 4th generation grower, 4 generations now. And so that's something really important here at Oregon Sweet Leaf Revival is 4th generation grower, and a lot of these folks out there, you know, they come and they find out that there's other things about this plant that they didn't even know. You know, it's like it's going to be an amazing thing, because what you're going to be able to do is nobody's going to be able to compete with quality no matter what it turns into. Like I was talking about last night in last night's show, I was saying that we were talking about, you know, how in the next 10 years after all this has gone out legal, you know, it's going to be one size fits all and nobody's going to like the bud. So it's going to be the micro brewers, the micro growers putting out those extra fine extracts, extra fine flower products, extra fine canna products, that it's going to be a specialized niche like Gucci and Dolce Gabbana or whatever you want to call it. So something to keep in mind is as you're growing with the knowledge, every grower, even at 4th generation, is still learning new things. This plant doesn't stop teaching us. From one generation to another generation to another generation, this plant continually teaches us. It's continually telling us something else. And so that's the cool thing about being a grower and growing my cannabis is that I'm capable of producing, you know, high-grade medical strains. And I don't know, man. It's like Ganja Goddess said today when she goes out into the garden. She said, you know, this is the best time of the year, you know, because she's standing in the middle of all her, you know, her ganja.
Not just that, I have vegetables growing too.
She's got her vegetable garden and her ganja garden, her tomatoes and everything going on. And so, you know, it's pretty cool, man, you know, how you look at it. And, you know,
potatoes, I have potatoes growing.
Got beautiful, stanky flower plants growing all around her. You know, she's wall to wall of ganja. And I'm here to say that my first time getting out there, you know, even though I had that other generation of knowledge backing me at what I knew what I was doing, I still found things that I could improve and get better in my garden. And so, but I learned a long time ago that nothing produces cannabis better than dirt.
That's right.
And sunshine. And water. Salts and sugars and phosphoruses. You know, all the things that a plant normally needs is the same kind of material that you can put in your body. I don't know if you know that. Did you know that by making a half-part diluted formula of powdered milk, just powdered milk, okay, go down and get yourself some of that fortified vitamin A, vitamin D powdered milk, okay? You take that powdered milk and you dilute that powdered milk, 1 part, you know, powdered milk, 8 parts water, and make it, you know, to where it's kind of just, you know, like a creamy looking water. And you shake that stuff up really good, and you make sure your water source is good too. You guys out there, you gals out there, you female gardeners and you male gardeners out there, you want to remember that as you only want to give your plant what you would eat yourself, okay? And you know what this powdered milk is going to do. You want to feed it. You don't want to give it a lot, okay? You just want to gently feed the base around the plant about 8 inches away from the stem, the main stem, okay? Right now is the good time to start doing that, okay? Now what you're doing is powdered milk basically works on the same kind of principle as Terpinator or Terpex or any of those ones where people want high terps on their plant. They want extra trichome development on their plant. They want their plant to produce extra trichome. They want their trichome to, you know, stand like that far off the top of the bud, you know. They go and spend hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars on chemicals that come from laboratories made in China. Okay, and I hate to tell you, man, but that's not what your cannabis plant wants. But I'll tell you what your cannabis plant will do for you if you feed it powdered milk. Remember what I said: 1 part powdered milk, 8 parts water, good clean water. Okay, stir it up. Okay, and then you get, no matter how big you want to make it. If you got 30,000 plants, then get a goddamn fucking truck and get yourself a cow. All right. So, you know, but your plant really digs milk. True story. It digs milk because you're giving it a more soluble form, a more soluble form of calcium, a more soluble form of vitamin D, vitamin A, and many other rich nutrient sources that are what you would normally mix up to feed your little kid for cereal, okay? And this plant will open up its terpination. What it'll do is it'll become a terp factory. You won't need to spend $1,000. No, you're all right, my goddess. You know, you won't need to spend thousands of dollars on a bunch of chemicals when all you need is some powdered milk to do it. And you're going to have to watch me do it, okay? Because I'm telling you right now, there's not a chemical product on the planet that can beat powdered milk when it comes to opening up the sugar factory. Another thing that helps open up the sugar factory is blackstrap molasses. And what you want to get is a refined blackstrap molasses, something of the organic nature. Now, blackstrap molasses can be diluted and mixed with your tea. And what it does is it just kind of makes the plant want to get fat. And so what happens is your female, it's like she's got a drive-up window 24/7 at McDonald's. And so she's able to eat as many cheeseburgers as she wants while she's getting fat and pregnant. So, which can be a beautiful experience if you're a father. I am, and it was. So, and is. But anyways, with blackstrap molasses, man, in the diluted format, you give it a sulfur, because I don't know if you know this, but in blackstrap molasses, there's a little bit of sulfur. Now, what sulfur does, a lot of people have argued this and have gone back and forth, but here's the deal, man. Even kelp has certain percentages of sulfides in it, all right? But with this sulfur, it's a sugarized sulfur. So what it does is it goes in and it attaches itself to the root, all right, and all the little spiders that are building in your root wad system of your plant, and then it causes those roots to get fatter and get bigger. Okay, now we all know, anybody that's grown a plant knows that fuck, whatever you have up top means you've got a huge, you have a huge root rod at the bottom. You got a good root rod at the bottom.
Yeah.
Your root development's more important than what you got up top. So what you're talking about here now is vitamin A, vitamin D, calcium, and now sulfides, and sugar, natural sugar, which is blackstrap. And now we all know where that comes from. It's merely a beet extract. But the thing is, the plant fucking digs you now. She loves you. You can take eggshells. You know, everybody likes eggs. I like eggs in the morning for breakfast. You like eggs for breakfast in the morning. You can take eggshells and you can crack, when you're done with your eggshells, instead of throwing those eggshells away, you can take those, put them in a strainer bucket that's got holes in the bottom of it, and collect them over a while. Get a whole bucket full of eggshells. All right? Take those eggshells and just wash them with some good clean water. All right? Wash them down a little bit, kind of crunch them down a little bit so it's a little easier for the soil to absorb them, okay? And you put that eggshell in with your garden and you plant that stuff around. You can continually add these amendments as you're going along because that eggshell will dissolve in a short period of time under the soil, okay? And not only will it dissolve, but it'll also provide other rich forms of calcites that actually the plant really love. And not only does she really love it, but it builds up her immune system to make her more durable, give her the ability to have strength in her branches. A lot of folks have problems with branch breaking. I never really have that problem unless I'm just being an idiot and I'm tripping through the cannabis, you know, right? I mean,
or we have a freak thunderstorm.
Or we have, yeah, or we have a really hardcore thunderstorm, or something happens in the garden.
It's held that one year, remember?
But very rarely does it just break a branch in the wind. The wind's going to have to blow at a very high rate of speed for it to break, because the branch, even the sub branches, I'm talking your 8th and 9th and all the way to your 12th parallel of your plant. Okay, because see, I believe in parallels of the plant. The plant goes through different parallel stages. It goes from a shelled little carcass we call a seed, and it turns into what I call a tad, because it starts with a tail. Everything starts with a tail, right? And then after it starts with that tail, it splits and begins to push out, and then I call it a helmet. And then after its helmet phase, because that helmet is put on the seed to help it push through the dirt. That's why the shell is the way it is. That's why it's round, and it kind of, when it splits open, it kind of hangs on to the baby tendril green, what I call Dumbo, which is the next phase. Because the next phase of the plant is Dumbo, and Dumbo means is that the two Dumbo ears have flopped open, and now I'm working into my first, what I call primary stage. And primary stage means is that I'm getting my first set of saws. All right, the very first set of saws I see out of the seed, and then from there I'm going into the secondary, and then I go up, and I keep going up in stages, and I go all the way up to 12 stages. I have 12 stages of growing my cannabis. And I'm going to tell you something, folks. It's really, really, really a wonderful spiritual experience.
Yes, it is.
I mean, Ganja Goddess, I mean,
It's gorgeous. It's a fun time.
Yeah. I couldn't ask for something more spiritual.
For this year, though, we're going to do something.
Yeah. Actually, with Oregon Swahili Revival,
last year, but it wasn't as much
our genetics, with our genetics moving as fast as it is, with us doing the breeding we're doing, we're taking our breeding to the next level. I'm really looking forward to working with James and his extraction. I would love to have his master skill working with extractions out of my garden. I have never really been, you know, when I was a kid, you couldn't get bubble bags. Thanks, Bubble Man. Now we can. And everybody out there that wants to make hash, I would tell you to go to bubbleman.com, and there you go. That guy knows everything there is about making hash. He's a fine extractionist, and he sells a lot of wonderful products at a very economical rate at his site.
YouTube channel, Bubbleman's World.
Yeah, Bubbleman's. Yeah, Bubble Man's World.
Pretty knowledgeable.
He's got a YouTube channel, and he talks about nothing but extraction. Dry sift, water soluble only. He's not an extract. He doesn't like to play around with the BHOs, but he's definitely a master at dry sift. I mean, literally. And
smoked flower in years.
right. So check him out at that. It's like I said, it's bubbleman.com.
He only does hash.
Yeah, he only does extractions. He's up in Canada, but he does travel and does come throughout the United States to different events. And he does sell products in the United States. I know that people can buy the ice bags, the hash bags to make hash. Come with a little, you know, different micron screens and stuff like that. But this is the first year that I'm really going to go into hash extraction with our garden. And the reason we are is because of our Cannagar line, our Cannagar product. So that's why we're going to be doing a lot of with extraction as well, because we're going to be putting hash in our Cannagars. It's going to, the actual wrapper is going to have a hash part with it, so it's going to be more of a hash wrapper. We're not ever going to introduce any kind of tobacco product, and I will never really endorse a BHO product, just because I don't believe in putting petroleum with this plant. I'm sorry, gasoline and cannabis don't mix. I don't care what anybody says, how much they think they can purge it. To each their own, I guess, you know. But I am right now studying CO2 extraction, and I'm also, right now, this is our first year ever really getting into actual ice extraction, and we're going to be doing that.
I'm going to try my hand at making some beauty products. You know, maybe moisturizer for your face.
Right. Now, something else that just like Ganja Gata just said, Ganja Goddess just said, we are going to be carrying a beauty product line. Ganja Goddess would like to, she would like to develop some things and like to try to see some things out. And she will probably be doing some videos on that on her own. With me there, I'd like to help her. She's got a wonderful garden of herbs and aromatics. She's got lemon balm, she's got Moroccan mint, she's got spearmint, lavender, jasmine, she's got rose, she's got all of these wonderful organic flowering herbs already besides cannabis. And so, and she's also got some of the finest cannabis in the world, I think. So one of the things about it is in her garden, you know, if she's talking about making a beauty line, you can guarantee it'll probably come out with great success. She knows what she's talking about. This girl does. She's, you know, she knows what she's talking about. So you're thinking maybe some scents, maybe different roses, maybe flower scents, maybe, you know, there's so many, yeah, you know, yeah. So something a bit of an adventure maybe here down the road for her, you know, and I hope that, you know, as she grows, she has all the support in the world. So anyways, with our line of products that we will be carrying, some of those things are based on my seeds and genetics in our seed house. Oregon's Wheat Leaf Revival does have one of Oregon's largest seed banks of genetics, and a lot of these genetics are older than the 90s. So you're talking genetics from the 80s and also from the 70s, which are a lot more different than some of the newer strains. We've also gotten some of those crossed into newer strains. Like I said, we've gotten the Master Kush to go ahead and breed with the Matanuska Thunderfuck coming from Matanuska, Alaska, and mixing that with a Master Kush and Northern Lights. So those are three crosses into one strain that nobody would not want to have in their garden. I don't know how anybody wouldn't want to have it in their garden. It's a phenomenal strain. It's a dense strain. It's going to produce a high quality top flower, and it's also going to come down with some weight, and it's also going to come down really, really dewy. So any of those extraction artists out there that are looking into making their extractions with some good top grade flower, I would definitely be investigating that strain. Petrichor is the only strain I would recommend in regards to organic gardeners that are looking for that indica that's going to grow out in their garden and give them a high yield, more so than some of these other clone indicas that they're getting in their gardens. So if you're looking to start from a seed mother, that's a good way to start to get yourself a good start right back in your garden. So that's something to think about. And those seeds are available already at Oregon Chronic Solutions. And once again, you can find them at Oregon Chronic Solutions.
Or from us directly.
And we will be at the 710 event in Turner, and so if you folks are out there, we will have Petrichor, and we'll have a limited amount of Matanuska out there for those folks that are looking to get into some Matanuska and Northern Lights. We'll also have Shishkaberry out there, and some Oregon Goo, and some other different strains. I'm not going to release Mothership just yet. Like I said, that's a Honey Bear and Master Kush strain. Primarily because she's still in the testing phase, and we're watching her closely and monitoring her. She's a healthy, beautiful, beautiful plant. I mean, Mothership is phenomenal, but, you know, I did develop that line for my mother and for all those patients out there. My mom's going to now take seeds to patients out there in the Eastern Oregon area and be able to get some of those folks in the Eastern Oregon area plants free of charge, with a little bow ripped around it saying, you know, courtesy of Oregon Swoolie Revival, because we want them to have that strain. Mothership is a strain that's basically been dedicated to all those people who were told they were going to have a dispensary if they voted for it, only to find out that after we got the dispensary bill, some fat politician in their county gets to vote whether it gets to grow in their county or not. And so those folks have been shut out. And some of them have to drive hundreds and hundreds of miles to go get their medicine, and so making it very limited, and a lot of folks are forced to go to black markets in their area. And so if we can get patients to grow their plants, we're going to get free plants to them. And so I'm hoping that all those folks over there in Eastern Oregon area and the central area will enjoy the Mothership.
I can't wait to try it. It's growing in the garden.
I can't wait to try it either. She's a beautiful plant. Very, very, very broad leaves. Wouldn't you say? I would say one of the broadest leaves I've got that I've ever produced in my garden. She is a big girl. Not that I have a problem with big girls. You know, we think that they're all right, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, but gosh, man, she's a big girl. And, you know, that's the thing about it, man. With these strains, as I'm developing them, I'm really, really happy with the genetics. And when people see my genetics and they come over to my garden, the first thing they do is crap their pants. I guarantee you, you stand in my garden, you're not going to understand it. Because the way I raise these plants, each and every one of them are hand-raised with love from start to finish. And we have video. Ganja Goddess has made video footage of that available to folks out there. You should just go to our channel, like and subscribe us, okay? Because we're going to be posting other videos as we go along. And so I'm looking to be doing some work on a mural here pretty soon. Hopefully we can do some video footage of the mural work that I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be dedicating a few hours, maybe a week, on that mural, so that'll give you some time to get a little footage, maybe see some other sides of our life. I'm looking forward to doing that mural. It's going to be interesting to see how I can do it. I always like to be challenged. I'm still working on some tattoos. Got some pretty hardcore tattoo work to do, but I've got it all pretty much lined out. And I don't know, man, just with the garden work right now, what we got going on, and how everything has turned out, I couldn't bitch. Couldn't bitch not one bit, man. You know, it's kind of stressful to still hear about people getting locked up and shit for plants, you know, and everything, but what can you do, man? All you can do is just keep growing. And so remember that, folks. That's what's important, man. It's just to keep growing, keep growing. Don't stop. That's all you can do, man. That's all you can do in your life. No. You just got to keep growing. And if you need to know something, man, just remember, in the cannabis field, your plant is either going to be a cannabis, all the way cannabis indicus, or it's going to be cannabis sativas. Now, it can be a mix, cannabis sativas, cannabis indicus, and it can go in variances of those mixes. You can have predominant indicuses and minor sativas, or you can have predominant sativas and minor indicas in your strain, depending on how you breed. Because so much has been hybrid these days that a lot of people are being handed a plant that's been genetically modified so much through different cross strains that you end up with a plant that the only way you're going to get it to go back to what its mother originally was for however many years they've been breeding it is to just let it grow, let it seed, let it die, let it grow, let it seed, let it die, let it grow, let it seed, let it die. And maybe in 4 generations, maybe 5 generations, she might return to her original state, to what she was. Because after a period of time, it's already been proven that it goes right back to what its mother was. And what it predominantly was, whether it's a pure, a high-end indica or a high-end sativa, it doesn't matter. It's still going to have residual minors of the other strain crossed into it. So it's going to take some time for that mother to come back. But when she does come back, then you're talking about ground level again. You're back at ground level with her. And once you're back at ground level with her, you're able to carry it on. So just remember, when you're developing your plants and you're crossbreeding them and you're wanting something to go back or maybe find out what it was originally, maybe you should try to get it that way. Which reminds me, the wild patch is doing crazy, isn't it?
I know.
Yeah, man. Our wild patch, where we threw petrichor and mothership together, just, I was doing a germination experiment. You can go back a couple of videos on my YouTube. It's gone kind of wild, man. I mean, it's a sea of green, definitely, for sure. And when as it grows, it's just going to be a wall of green. And it's going to be interesting to see its transformation as it grows. The wall of green is always a good thing. So, folks, let's have another rip on some Purple Kush. What do you say, man? Welcome, viewer. Like I said, I really want to have this rip, though, for all my viewers that are watching over there in South America and Europe, down there in England and different parts of the country, and some of those folks up in the Great White North. And hey, man, let us know what's going on in your world, man. And is it legal? Do you like what you're getting? Are you a grower? Do you have experience? Let's share ideas and thoughts. If you don't, then I can also help you figure that out. Here at Oregon Sweet Leaf Revival, we are a seed house, patient grower network, and our whole thing is about freeing the plant. If I can give a person a free plant and encourage them to have a relationship with cannabis, I'm pretty sure that after they grow that first plant and I'm able to help them from seed to finish, with nothing to charge other than just me standing there helping them, and show them from seed to finish how successful of a relationship a person can have. It's almost religious and spiritual to some extent.
It's always nice to help people.
Yes, it's always nice, and that's our whole aim, is to help every person we can and try to educate the ignorant. As we all know, there's a lot of ignorance out there. Why is there a lot of ignorance? I think the residual ignorance that's left is the last of the generation that still wants to cling on to that reefer madness brain. Or there's that ego parasite,
I got that video on most already.
Man, that purple kush really comes out fine, man. With that purple kush, it comes right out really sweet, really flowery tasting, kind of got a grapey flavor with a little bit of hint of some maybe some lavender. Purple for sure, man. Purple kush for sure. So anyways, as our country goes legal, we're going to have a lot of fun with this. But, as we have fun with this and we continue to grow, across the country, I think that folks out there that are in the middle of growing this stuff right now need to stop and think about where we came from. We came from an era of generation of people who were put in prison and had their children taken from them and everything just because they wanted to have a relationship with cannabis in our country. And now, there's always been this stereotype hype about how stoners are stupid and they're just not smart and blah, blah, blah. They're dumb. They don't always make the right decisions, and yet it was stoners all along that was providing entertainment to the music world, providing entertainment to the theatrical world, and, it was Prohibition that started the cancer rise. So, you have to weigh out the benefits of where we came from by the blood of the ancestors that have left their wisdom behind. And I want to always mention the emperor, everything that he's ever taught me. Jack Hare has taught me so much about this plant that goes beyond smoking it, goes beyond its medicinal uses. I've learned so much about this plant that and its cousin, the hemp plant, its sister, the hemp plant, and how important it is to us. And you're talking fuel, polymers, you're talking fibers, and it's really simple to bake those things down because, as much as I know about this cannabis plant, it's really easy to get yourself a really top-grade fuel out of hemp. And I can't wait to see what the fuel designers do with hemp, because I know that they're going to be able to extract the oil and refine that stuff to make it a fuel source. And not only make it a fuel source, but a good, clean, efficient burning fuel source to such of the nature that we can get away from the idiotic idea that a car with a bunch of batteries in it is the solution. Because what are batteries, folks, but another footprint that toxifies our beautiful, beautiful Midgard. And when I mean Midgard, folks, don't get confused. I mean Midgard called Earth or Ina or Meka or whatever you want to call it. I call it Midgard.
Me too.
So, Ganja Goddess, I have an idea in regards to some of your beauty products. What would be cool is maybe if we could find a glass blower that could actually maybe do some unique jars.
That would be cool.
Wouldn't that be nice? Get some artesian glass done.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Cool.
That would be really sweet, man. We'd be able to do a lot. you know, with what we're doing right now, you know, as it is with my Canagar, that one is going to be our first primary garden product that's going to be produced and available to those patients that need it. It's going to be something that I'm going to be refining and making sure that it's a class act. And I want it to go beyond a cup winner. I'd like to see it go beyond all that. As it is right now, with all the CBD strains, and I've got some of the highest in the garden, you know, but also I've got the balance. I've also got the highest in THC. So I've got those two going on for me, and I'm pretty happy with those. I got really high numbers. And so when you're talking in the 24, 25 bracket, you should probably be pretty happy about what you're producing in your garden. But I think that I'm getting higher than that. I think last year we were really high. And if I would have tested my crop, you know, the way they said that they should have done, whatever, I would have probably had a pretty phenomenal number, just because of what we pulled out last year. I mean, last year was just a phenomenal harvest. I did get ripped off. I did have somebody rip me off for 1.5 pounds of my medicine. I didn't bitch too much about it, other than, you know, I didn't appreciate her doing it. She knows who she is. You know, sometimes, you know how it goes, man. You know, you trust people a little too far, and you know, they take advantage of that. And in my world, there's only one thing that I live on, and that's my lifestyle is based on truth. What I know is the truth is not what most people see as the truth, because their perception of the truth is distorted in my view. I struggle from chronic post-traumatic stress disorder. I mean, I did 22 years in the joint, and, you know, with that stress disorder, you know, I have to medicate this cannabis plant, and so to keep me from being so isolated. And being a gardener, I spend a lot of time in my garden and with my family and kids, and trying to develop better strains for my patients and my fans of my strains. I've never really been one of those individuals that needed a golden star for what I did. I just fucking did it because that's what made me feel good. Anyways, yeah, man, it's one of those things, you know. It's a transition in time, and for everything that I do, I try to see what I can do for others, because one of the things that's so badly overlooked in our world today is that reality called truth. You know, we're teaching our little kids white lies. You know, we've been doing that since I was a little kid. You know, even me when I was a little kid, you know, I was told, oh yeah, there's Santa Claus and all this other bullshit, and you know, it's only getting worse, man. The levels of it is just getting so much worse. And I'm talking, you know, it begins with the women in our world, in our society. And me and Ganja Goddess have talked about this. Empowerment, you know. The reason a lot of women in this world are in the positions they're in, and don't get me wrong, I mean, they're probably our top money-making, you know, as far as CEOs and executives, they are the money makers out there in the world, in the corporate world. But the thing is, man, is the counter-cross culture exploitation of that independence delves deeper into the inner soul of who she is. And, you know, what I'm seeing, you know, is kind of something I would say, like what Terence McKenna would say, is that, you know, culture means death. Okay, when you start thinking that you are part of some cultural rich substance, you are now connected by the neck with a chain to people you may or may not agree with, people you may not like, or people you may like. And, you know, I guess it goes to the scenario. I mean, if you had a second head on your shoulder and it fucking stank like a dirty asshole, pardon my language, but, you know, you wouldn't, you'd say cut the fucker off, man. And so, but that, you know, Terence McKenna, being the philosopher he was, in his deep philosophy, was primarily just how dangerous it can be when we start talking about going into a cultural idealism, because it should be individualism in a cooperative method, in anything that goes on, because the way it is right now with having Colorado and Washington legal, you know, these kids are just, you know, they're seeing stars, you know, because one, the rap music that they listen to and the culture that they say they're part of, is actually a poison. It's a poison that's teaching into a lack of independence. And, you know, are women really independent in society, when you got, you know, the way entertainment is today, man? I mean, people are saying that, you know, people that produce music on a computer, not an instrument, I mean, they're not using a guitar or any formal instrument, I don't know, a piano, a bongo, or any fucking thing, are considered the top of the music empire right now. And they're individuals that are producing their music on computers. They don't have drums, they don't have guitars, they don't have basses, they don't have microphones, they don't have shit, man. They're just fucking walk out there with a little fucking thing on their mouth, and they lip sync some fucking techno beep beep, and they're fucking rock stars. And yet, shouldn't their talent be harmony? Beyond that of the voice. No, the identity of the culture is the cross counterculture, because now you're talking all of the, you know, all of the boomers are you know, moving into that phase of platinum, and we're moving in behind them. And the concept of what our society has turned into is a broken, forgotten relic of what we were told we were doing wrong when we were kids.
Yep.
And so it goes deeper than that. And so you created a lie, that now is called the truth, in our society. And then we have little stories that pop up like yesterday. How old was the kid? The kid who got shot.
He was, I believe, 16. They said he was a teenager.
A 16-year-old teenager.
I'm not sure how old he was.
Trying to cross the fence down there, was shot and killed and murdered.
He was 17, I think.
At 17, I don't care. He was still a baby.
Yeah.
Murdered by a border patrol agent. Murdered, just fucking shot. Yeah. And this child didn't have any weapons or anything on him to even pose as a threat. The very fact that he was running, you know, they should have used some form of non-lethal method if they felt they needed to capture him, but instead they pulled out their fucking gat and blasted holes through him.
It's crazy.
Yeah, man. That's the kind of world we live in, and a lot of that is going to go away. This glitz and glam and shit of what's going on in the cannabis world, we got to get a grip on it, man, and we got to keep big box from getting a hold of it. And we need to keep it where it belongs, in the community, and instead in the grips of big corporate tycoons. You know, I've heard so much bullshit. You know, Monsanto's the fucking demon that Monsanto's is. Wanting his fucking hand in cannabis and also hemp. And now that hemp is coming out and being legal, they want their hand in that as well. And that's not going to happen. And I think that we need to do everything we can to shut that whole idea down. If you're, you know, I don't care if you're from Monsanto's or not. I'm not, and I know what he's doing for our world's food supply. I know what they're doing to fucking propagandize their lie. That's why I grow my own food, and it's all heirloom food. So we encourage anybody when they want to grow a garden of, you know, vegetables, please get heirloom. Don't get GMO, you know, the GMO shit. You know, there's a lot of hybrid shit. When they say hybrid, step the fuck away from it. Because your hybrids are going to be the ones that are sickening for you. You shouldn't fuck with those. You never, you know, that's not how that plant originally was created, and you shouldn't eat it. Shouldn't consume it. Shouldn't grow it. Shouldn't have it in your garden, because keep in mind, if you get a GMO in your garden, it could fucking cross-pollinate. What are you doing? So, be guarding your garden when you're doing that, man. Always be conscious of what kind of species of plants you're growing. Whether it's I don't care if you're growing a cannabis plant, a water plant, whatever you're doing. Get a line on what you're doing, because a lot of times folks have a tendency to not know much about GMO, and they should. If they love their children or the people that are going to eat the vegetables out of their garden, if you love yourself, you're gonna double check that. And as this gets more commercialized, people, you know where it's going to go. It's going to look just like big tobacco. Because this is a smokable product, and the hash that they're going to make, and all that other stuff. So you all know this is going to go out like big tobacco. And those people that are growing out there, you know, you may have a little going for yourself, but, you know, it's going to take a community effort, man. It's going to take all of us growers, all of us patients, all of us users to join hands and say, hey, man, you know, you locked us up for this crap, for growing this, and you told us all those years, say no to drugs, when we knew all along that cannabis was no drug. In fact, it was a medicine. Okay? And we never did believe your propaganda anyways. And now we are free, and we're freeing it to people all around. And they know who they are. And, you know, I hope that as you people grow your cannabis and your relationship you have with your plants, that you're able to do everything you ever dreamed.
Yep.
So, always remember that, folks. You know, it starts with the seed, you move with the seed, you know, you pop it, you watch it grow, you water it, you love it, you give it sunshine, you give it amendments, you know. And remember my little formula with powdered milk, because powdered milk is going to open up your trichome development, which means that your phenos are going to be better. I'm kind of against the idea of just putting fish directly on. I think fish needs to be more refined in a tea before you start thinking about feeding it to your plant. That's a good joint right there, man. Whew. For you, Jackie. I love you, man. So, you know, you got to think about that too, man, because I've smelled people's gardens where they put fish, that Alaskan fish, and not that I'm against it, because it's a good fertilizer. It's an organic fertilizer, but they put it in their plants, and the finished product, there's always that highlight, a fishy smell. And I think that's kind of where tuna comes from, you know, after a while. I don't know if you guys heard about it, but there's a strain in, I think it's in Canada, it's called tuna. And it smells very fishy, I guess.
It's supposed to taste like a tuna sandwich.
It's supposed to, yeah, you're supposed to smoke a bong it and it's going to taste like you're eating a tuna fish sandwich. And they're calling it tuna. Now that sounds disgusting. I don't know that I would ever want a bong hit that tastes. I'm more of a flowery guy. I like to taste my flowery notes,
Sounds
fruity
gross
notes.
to me.
A tuna fish sandwich vape? Yeah, hey man,
Like tuna,
don't vape on my tuna fish vape
I've
pen,
had
man.
tuna
Yeah,
months
dude,
and
you know.
months and months.
Here, try my watermelon, you know, or something, man, because that's where it's gonna go, guys and gals. You know, you're gonna be able to have all kinds of flavor. They got cheese, we got berry, you know, we got honey, we got, you know, we got blackberry, we got cherry, black cherry soda, we got, you know, all kinds of strains that are being developed. So you're talking some you know, you got mango, you got peach. That's one of our developments is peach, putting peach into our strain. Because last year, oh my God, we had peachy tasting flower. A lot of our flower tasted very fruity. I did a bud flower extract, and my bud flower extract, it turned out very, very fruity. So when I put a little bit of that oil on my fucking bowl once in a while, me and Ganja are blazing and watching a movie, or sitting in the garden, or sitting with friends and socializing. That right there, man, is a high note for any good bud flower you want to put in a bowl.
Mm-hmm. Very tasty.
Yeah, very high in THC. I would say I'm in the top 90s with that, because you got to figure when you extract, you go into an extract, you're getting 90, 98, 99% of your extract. You're getting your culling that much. If you're doing it right, I know I'm doing it right, and I've seen other people do it. I've seen some that are just overly refined and look really, really, really clear. And to tell you the truth, you know, the extracts are based on plant particulates. So if you're not filtering your extracts properly, you could be, very well easily be, getting particulates in there, which is going to make your extract darker. But also heat variances too. You know, you want to keep your stuff. I don't care what anybody says. I've heard people talk 200 for doing oxidation, and to deoxidize something or to take something down to deoxidate, you got to increase the temperature. And they say everybody's been doing it at 200, and I honestly do not think you should do that. People that I've talked to say 200. You could bake out a lot of the tries. You could get rid of the phenol. You could cook the phenol out of it, and make it taste nasty. I honestly wouldn't do that. Always keep your temperatures below 160. Be patient. 160 is going to take a little longer. But at 160, you're still going to be able to keep it below and be able to do a proper job. It's just going to take longer. And, just be patient, like a wine or anything else. I would never endeavor anything over 200 like people are suggesting. I would keep it much lower than that because I don't want to bake those phenols. I want to have flavor. I want my buds to taste good. I want my extracts to taste flowery and good. I don't want them to be cooked out by a 200-degree temperature, because that's very possible to do. I know that you're supposed to increase the temperature, but hell, man, just put it at 160 and let it sit there for a long time. That way, don't go crazy with it. And fresh frozen is the only way to go ice hash. For your ice extractions, fresh frozen is the only way to roll, because that way you're getting just the purest of the top of the trichome. And go fresh frozen. When you're freezing that trichome fresh, you and I know that there's molecules of moisture residuals left in the pistil of the plant, and those are all going to freeze up underneath the trichome as well. Okay, and as they freeze up, those will even break off. So, and you're using a, use your extracts with a dry hash extraction. We do, you can do it that way as well. But fresh frozen's always great with bubble bags and some good ice, man. You can get really good results with very minimal residuals. I mean, all the way down to, I think, what is it, the 190 micron? Like 190 micron. And so even go second stage, you can even go and re-rinse that back and even come back even more with a good take. I've heard of people going and rinsing their stuff twice with ice hash and with fresh frozen. Now, not that stuff that's been dried and cured. A lot of people say dried and cured, you can do that as well. And yeah, you can. You can make, ice hash with dried and cured. But the problem with doing that, man, is that you're going to fight all the plant particulates, all the leaf and all the residual bud flower and all that stuff that you're breaking up that's going to be filtering through those micron screens. You're going to be fighting all of that too, because some of that's going to be so dry it's just going to break up to powder anyways. And so you're not going to want that. And even in bubble bags, you're going to fight some plant particulates all the way down to the 70 micron. So you want to think about fresh frozen for that. Definitely so. That's what we do here. I would think this year our whole goal, since it's our first year of really getting in and delving in with our extracts, with our bud flower, our sun-grown bud flower, is going to be using dry ice as well with fresh frozen. Because dry ice will continue to maintain that temperature that you're going to want to keep with the ice and the water that you're going to be using while you're using your extract and getting your heads out. With trichome heads, when they're frozen, though, there's still that residual of moisture inside. And there's always that high potential that when you're washing it, now let's just pretend like this is a trichome here. When you're washing this trichome off of the flower and it's frozen already, it's a fresh frozen trichome, you want to keep in mind that you don't want to really begin agitating the flower too hard in that water, that cold ice bath, too difficult at first, because all you want it to do is touch the water and let the water change the temperature of the core of the trichome to keep it from breaking in the middle, because sometimes you end up only getting half of a trichome, and when you get it down into the the higher micron, you're talking this plant particulate right here still makes a good second grade, and that second grade is going to be every bit as dank as that first grade. But you don't want to break that trichome. You want to rinse that whole head, you want to rinse that whole trichome all the way through, man. And there are bags out there that work, and bubbleman.com has them. Bubble bags, great, work great. So and I guess they're making this washing machine thing, and I guess they've been doing that for a while. I don't know what that's about. Like I said, this is Oregon School of Revival's first year dinking around with doing extracts. I've always done dry sift. I've always done my, I called it my grower's choice or my brick. And what I would do is take and let all my fresh frozen freeze up, and then at that point I would gather and collect on screens and beat like the Moroccans do. Because in Morocco, that's how they do it. They draw that shit out to where it's like super crispy, and then they beat the crap out of it through these cheesecloth messes, and they gather up any of the keef, and then they continue it through another dry sifting method to get as much of the head material and separated from the stamen and any other plant material that may have fell through the cheesecloth, and finally press it into bricks. Over in Morocco, they use like truck jacks to press it together. But anyways, we're going to do it a little more cleaner that way. One of the nice things about Oregon Chronic Solutions is their Canna Kitchen is going to be coming online here pretty soon, and we'll be holding a video there so you can see their Canna Kitchen. It's going to be a wonderful time because that Canna Kitchen is going to be very much needed in our community amongst all of our growers, and we're looking forward to being a supporter of that. So as it comes online, so stay tuned. We will have an update on it. So, anyways, any other news, Don Gigados?
None that I could find.
None that she could find.
I was looking, so I decided to.
Well, folks, I think that at this point we're going to have to say it is a night. I don't want to get it too much later tonight. I got to get out to my garden. One thing that I always want you to remember is that it starts with one free plant.
One free plant.
You free that plant, and the rest will follow. You have that relationship, and you will understand what I'm talking about.
Yep.
And if you need that plant, you hit me up. I've got it for you, free of charge. And if you want to learn how to grow it, I'll teach you how to grow it from start to finish, man. And you know, if there's anything in there that I don't know, I know many others that are just as great of growers than I, and I'm sure their advice would be just as free as mine. So, Guns Goddess, and she said, sharing.
Sharing is always caring.
Always caring.
On my mind.
Yeah.
Send us an email if you have any questions or comments. Leave us a note. Please like us and subscribe. We have new videos every day. It's going to be fun doing this new almost like a TV series type thing.
Yes. And like Ganja Goddess said, she's going to be doing some cooking and some cosmetic making. So you guys and gals out there, because I'm going to tell you something. As a tattoo artist for 22 years, I had to learn the skin. And that was my primary trade before I got into the cannabis business when my back got blown out, was tattooing and motorcycling and prison and trains and mama
That's like a song.
and the rain. Anyways, I did that before, and I know a lot about the skin, and a lot of guys that I meet when I was tattooing, I will always tell them, you know, what do you do to your skin? What do you take care of? What do you do to take care of your skin? And a lot of these dudes would think, okay, you know, this is a freaky question for a guy to ask another guy. And I'm getting ready to give a tattoo to this guy, and I'm personally wanting to know whether or not my cannabis is healthy enough for me to give that tattoo to. So, you know, meanings, do you put lotions on your skin? Do you put coconut on your skin? What do you use to exfoliate the skin? You know, because your dermis is the largest organ on your body, and you should be taking care of it. If you don't, you could die a horrible, horrible death. So, anyways, with Canna products, the Canna product line, of course, will be 100% GMO-free and organic, because that's the only thing that comes out of my garden, whether it's a tomato, a marionberry, a watermelon, a squash, a zucchini, corn, cannabis, you name it, there it is. So, you know, just keep tuned in and on us, and I promise you, like Ganja Goddess said, gonna get her a new camera.
Yes. We're gonna get a new camera pretty soon here for the computer, because this camera doesn't work very well.
We need a better camera.
Some more pixels.
Yeah, we need a better camera, and
I want to get a GoPro.
Yeah, a GoPro would be nice. We would like to see that happen. That would be more better for us to get in there and show you what we're doing with our hash making and with our medicines and with Cannagar coming out, and of course with our genetics and our strains and our seed line. You know, so many people take that for granted because, you know, a seed can come out to mean a lot. So remember that, folks, as we progress. All you viewers out there, I don't care who you are, you know, I know a lot of people across the world, and, you know, I'm one of those guys. I look forward to meeting each and every one of you, and so is this woman next to me.
I really am.
We're really looking forward to meeting you out there in the events, the Cannabis Cups, and the different events that are coming up. We're looking at meeting up at the Emerald Cup. We're looking at a couple other places, and we're looking forward to meeting you folks and blazing one down, man, and hitting the wind. So just remember, folks, if you have any questions, any concerns, it's OregonSweetLeafRevival@yahoo.com.
Yep. Or at our Facebook.
Or
send us a message on YouTube. Please like us and subscribe to our channel too.
Yeah.
That'd be
and
very helpful.
We appreciate your guys' support. And remember, we are still running our fundraiser for patient-to-patient
The link
help.
for that is on our Facebook page.
Yeah, we are running that. That fundraiser is going to come with a hand-blown custom piece to the winner. So I will be presenting that probably next week. And at that time, you folks out there will have a chance to see the piece that is going up for that draft, and I hope you folks check it out. So we will have pictures of it posted up on our website, so and you guys can see it there as well. Have a good night.
Have a great night.